Hi, I'm Sharon. Welcome to this theory tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbale.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. You can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of the time when you're sitting and taking your exam paper on exam day. So if you go to sharonbale.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be super. And please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And so now we're going to complete the last question of this sample paper. This paper is just provided as an example of the new look, the newly revised exam paper, and just how it's visually changed with a few changes in the presentation of the questions, and also the fact that there's no longer any composition completing a 4-bar rhythm. And so we'll just jump to the last page. If you turn with me to page 4, we're going to have a go at question 9. And so, as I always say, and I know that I'm repeating myself, have a go of this on your own. First of all, it doesn't matter if you go wrong. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. Always write in pencil. Have a nice sharp pencil. I use a mechanical pencil just so it stays sharp, and then you've got an eraser to hand and you can rub out if you go wrong, and you'll also need a ruler just to keep things neat and tidy. So I'm hoping that you've had a go of this. It's just getting used to observing a few things that will all be relating back to this little extract here. So the more past papers that you do, the better you get at answering these questions and finding the answers. And that's why I suggest that even the older papers before the format has changed are an excellent revision resource. So then, I'm hoping you've had a go, and we'll have a go of this together now. So we're told that this melody is in the key of F major. We can see there are B flats. We need to give the number of a bar that contains all the notes of the tonic triad in this key. So before we find that, we need to first know what we're looking for. And so if you remember, the tonic triad is built up of the first, the third, and the fifth degrees of the scale. So if we're in F major, F is the first, G, A is the third, B, C. If you find it difficult, just counting up those steps, even if you don't play piano, it's a good idea to just sketch out a quick piano keyboard diagram, and then you can think first, third, fifth. So now we know that we're looking for an F, an A, and a C in a bar. They may not be in that order, but they're the notes we're looking for. So we've got a C and an A, but no F. Here, we've got a C, an A, G, F. So actually bar 2 answers that pretty much straight away. Are there any other options? No, I think that's the only one. So we got there pretty quickly, really. But if it comes later, you've just got to keep looking until you find it. Don't forget you're in bass clef, so that's another thing that could throw you. If you're not looking in the correct clef, that might also be one of the reasons why you're not finding the notes. So just double check your clef. So let's move on to the next question. So we need to name the degree of the scale of the last note of the melody. So we need to name the degree of the scale. There are 2 ways that you can do this. Remember that the key is F major, so F is the first. So here is our F in the bass clef, 1 step below G. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know that C is the 5th. The only way you can go wrong is if you forget to count F as note 1. If you want to double check that, you can always just sketch out the degrees of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can see that C, F, A, C, is the fifth, and actually you've already done the thinking for that here when you were looking for the tonic triad, because you know that C is the fifth. So once you know that this is C, you know that it's the fifth degree of the scale, or you can just quickly count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Several ways you could go about that. So we need to say that that's the fifth degree of the scale. That's that question completed. Now we need to draw a circle around two notes next to each other that are tied together. Now this is where we've got to be careful, because a tie is this shape, but so also is a slur. And so we need to be careful that we're looking for the symbol but correctly applied. So here it looks like that could be the answer, but that's not a tie, that's a slur, because it's two different notes, two different pitches, and that means play it smoothly. This is two different pitches, that means play it smoothly. So does that, so does that. However, here, that's our tie, because it's note head to next door note head, and it's exactly the same pitch. So we're just joining the note values together so that that note lasts longer. So just be careful that you don't circle the wrong one. Just looking at the shape of the symbol, you've got to look that it's correctly applied as well. Just a little bit of observation now. How many bars contain only quavers or eighth notes? So we're looking for bars that have only got these notes in it, no other note values. So let's have a look. Well, although this has got quavers or eighth notes, it's also got a crotchet, a quarter note, so that won't do. This is entirely quavers or eighth notes. So is this. The articulation doesn't matter, we're just looking at the rhythm. That's got none. That's got a crotchet in it. It's not only quavers or eighth notes. This is only quavers or eighth notes. And so actually we've got 1, 2, 3 bars that answer that criteria. So now we're asked, in which bar is the performer told to pause or to hold on to the note? So we need to know what that is. Now a good clue would be, you might be lingering at the end of a piece, so that's a good place to guess. However, if you just scan through, it is at the end. That's a pause mark, it's also called a fermata, and it just means let the note continue to play, exceeding the value of the note that's allocated in its rhythm. So just a bit of an artistic pause at the end. And so we know that that occurs in bar 9. Now this next section is the easiest 10 marks imaginable, but you've got to take great care not to lose any. All we're going to do is we're going to copy. However, be careful to make sure that you copy exactly where they've asked us. Here they're asking us from the start of the melody to the end of bar 4, but that may not always be the case, so just sort of keep your eyes peeled to which bit you're going to be looking to copy. We need to make sure we copy it exactly as it's written. They even give us a list. We need to include clef, key signature, time signature, tempo marking, dynamics, and all other details. So basically, whatever you see, copy it. So they helpfully put the stave here so that we can directly see where we're going. And when you're copying from the beginning, that's super helpful because we can just keep everything aligned with their example so we don't get lost. So I'm just first of all going to map out my bar line. So we're going from the start, 1, 2, bar 3 to the end of bar 4. So that's where we are going to. So we're told don't forget the clef. So we're in bass clef. This is where you need a sharp pencil to make sure everything stays neat and tidy. The key signature, so place that accurately on the bass clef B. The time signature. The tempo marking, so allegro. So we've got a bit of revision opportunity here. If you test yourself, what does allegro mean? So allegro means fast or quick. We've got the metronome marking, crotchet or quarter note equals 120. That's 120 crotchet beats or quarter notes per bar. If you wanted to, you could even just sketch the bar numbers just to help you not get lost. And now we've just got a bit of copying to do. So you can do this in any order you like. I prefer to just get the note heads in place. Just get everything spaced correctly. I'm keeping it as aligned to theirs as I possibly can so I won't get lost. And then I also know I'm not going to run out of space. I'm going to do the stems afterwards, but it's entirely up to you. As long as you copy it all carefully, it really doesn't matter what order you go in. This one doesn't need, I'll just give that a bit of an extra colour in, make my blobs a bit healthier. There we go. So now I'm going to put the stems in. By all means use a ruler. In fact, I think I will here on this beam. Just got a bit carried away there. Same again. Just copying exactly what they've done. There's no thinking involved at all here. So there are the stems. Now we've got the articulation marks. So we've got some staccato. If you remember, a bit of revision here. That means smooth. That means detached, kind of a spiky detached effect. There's our accent. Play with extra force. Staccato. Got a slur. Staccato, that's that. And now we need the dynamic details MF, that's mezzo forte, which means moderately loud. So there is no excuse but to get 10 marks just to copy things carefully. So give it a last check over to make sure you're not throwing away a couple of marks needlessly. That's the end of that question, and that's the end of that paper. I do hope that's helpful to you. I hope it's been of benefit to your studies. These past papers and all the older years too are an excellent resource. If you can give me a like, that would be super. Please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more to come. Please also do go to sharonbale.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.